All right, there you see our players sitting down, getting ready to draft with these insane stipulations.
I'm very excited to see the feature matches, well, feature match drafts, I guess, feature drafts for this. Oh, so it looks like Helene has going to be doing the backup draft. Let's start with the bid. Yeah. Looks like Helene has drawn the backup draft because there she is sitting in with the community team.
Yes.
And whose seat is that? I'm trying to remember. That is Erin Campbell, who will be over there beside Aaron Forsyth, and will be drafting the backdraft.
The first 2 packs
for the Wizards team. So this is going to be very interesting. That means that Helene and Erin are going to have to swap places between packs 2 and 3 and try to salvage their decks based on what other people have been doing. And I'm expecting to see Frank Lepore and Paul Cheon, as I mentioned, doing a lot of assistance for the rest of their team. And we are
so much
in the draft now. So this is...
so I think Tormented Hero sounds very much like an arcade game, and Man of War sounds like an arcade game. Path to Exile also sounds like an arcade game to me. And
is probably the #1.
And Go for the Throat is actually kind of a really nice arcade game.
Go for the Throat is like a tabletop game that
Sean
takes
seems
itself
to
way
be,
too serious.
Okay,
leaning
so I
towards
think it's Man of War or Tormented Hero, and I'm going to let you go whichever way you want there.
Ooh. So it looks like he's going with Man of War.
I think he's going to have to be... shit. Okay, here's my build.
They're humming and hawing between Tormented Hero and Man of War. I don't know. I'm thinking old arcade stand-up machines. I don't really think Tormented Hero. Man of War I could certainly buy.
If it was just Javelin, it would sound more arcadey to me.
Flame Javelin is like a old sort of Atari game where the cover art looks way better than the game would ever be.
They ended up going with a Tormented Hero.
That's curious. Well,
oh no! Well, we'll have to discuss whether points get deducted for an auto pick here. I understand.
Oh,
that's fine.
Day 9 accidentally double-clicked,
I didn't even get to look
and
at what the picks were.
without even looking, picked a Mizumi Short Fang.
That's kind of an arcade.
No, it is not. No, it's not.
I would play that game.
Bad Moon.
Definitely sounds.
Bad Moon.
Bad Moon
could
is
work.
very good.
Primal Command.
Primal Command sounds
Primal
like
Command could also work.
Definitely.
Celestial Purge. Actually, Celestial Purge sounds very much like an arcade game. Celestial Purge sounds like it sounds like the most arcadey to me. No, Isochron Scepter also sounds very arcadey.
I gotta be. You can't build my deck. You're not drafting.
I'm
supposed to explain to you.
You can tell me, but it's stipulated. So it has to be. You have to take the most arcadey sounding card, and I think
I don't know. Bad Moon sounds very arcadey to me. That's the thing.
I will accept Bad Moon. I will accept Bad Moon. I think it is a little better
Sean
than
made
Celestial
a good argument there for Bad Moon. I think that's totally fair.
People making them, so they had games that were like a verb, like Punch.
Some sort of vampire game.
There was no game called Punch.
And then they stepped it up. They got adjectives in there, and then they got Bad Moon. Ooh, that's kind of cool. And no one likes it. There's a collector who will pay like $500 for a broken Bad Moon, and he'll refurbish it. And that's why we're going with it here. So we have.
I accept it.
All right, cool. Somehow we've gained extra time here.
Okay. So
Leech Arbor. Let me look through here.
Vampire Nighthawk, Cursed Scroll. Cursed Scroll is absolutely the most
Cursed Scroll.
Brian is
arcadey
completely
sounding
correct.
here.
Cursed Scroll, absolutely.
No,
That's
it's Cursed Scroll.
You're like an Indiana Jones kind of character going through a dungeon,
like that, but
looking for the Cursed Scroll.
Let me look around here for a little bit. Let me think.
Day 9's taking a look.
Burning Catacomb sounds a little arcadey. Green Sun Zenith also sounds arcadey.
I'm trying to think of
Spectral Procession.
Ghost. Look, I gotta go over Cursed Scroll because these are like old single-player arcade game names.
There we go. We've got more. We've got better audio on Day 9 now.
I'm not. I don't want to pick blue. God.
I absolutely think Cursed Scroll is.
It's no contest. Cursed Scroll, some old school Disney themed IP game of someone who's 5 pixels high running through a castle. It's called Cursed Scroll.
Correct.
If we have Bad Moon, we got to go with Cursed Scroll.
Absolutely.
So, because I mean, there's the old school adventure games that I was looking up. some of the old school arcade games like Donkey Kong. Maybe some more popular ones like Street Fighter right now. Some rhythm games I could maybe reference. Maybe there's a DDR somewhere.
Any dancing cards?
Any dancing cards? Any cards about dancing? We're waiting for a player to pick a card.
So Cheon looks like he's got a pretty reasonable deck coming together. I mean, the Izumi Short Fang pick is a little awkward, but
it at least works with his bad.
What did you
that's
pick?
true.
Oh, nothing. It was
Okay, hold on. So,
His Dark
Dark Ritual sounds like a game.
Okay, well, Brain Maggot. That is a game right there.
Everflowing Chalice.
Willbender. Oh, Willbender.
I think Dark Confidant sounds like a game. Spell Pierce.
That's kind of hard.
Spell Pierce sounds very much like a Pernicious Deed.
No, they wouldn't put Pernicious in an arcade.
No, yeah.
No, Sean's correct in that. Pernicious Deed would never.
Chalice.
That you can't market that game.
Sounds like a movie. Opposing Arid Mesa, maybe Willbender, Dark Ritual. This is all bad.
Willbender is good. Brain Maggot is good. I might accept Visara the Dreadful.
Here's the thing. Here's the game.
It's not as good as the other ones.
Yes.
Very specific.
Dark Confidant is the sequel to Bad Moon. It's part of the Cursed Scroll line of arcade games.
Sean's doing a lot of world building here, which I think is going to help him in the long run.
Hand of Honor. Hand of Honor is really good for Spike. A Johnny Goldmane. Please let me say it. Okay. Voice of Resurgence.
No.
Slagstorm, Sarcomancy. You know, arcade games really had that one
Slagstorm
word
or Sarcomancy would both be good.
I think Sarcomancy.
Actually, Hand of Honor is really strong.
Maybe a collector's game.
You don't think
It's like-
Stormblood Berserker, which harkens back to Berserk?
No, Brian.
I really need this card. Let me explain to you why Sarcomancy is really exactly what we're talking about.
Caracas doesn't sound like Johnny Goldman doesn't.
I think
sound
solid cases could be made for Slagstorm or Hand of Honor.
In the era of rock, you know, ICP's getting big and weird.
You've stalled sufficiently to get your Sarcomancy.
Yes, boom. Hero's Downfall.
That's an interesting technique.
Hero's Downfall is out of doubt.
Talk and talk until the clock runs
Curd
out.
8.
Just flag the card you want.
You could sort of go Donkey
Kong, yeah, I totally.
Hero's Downfall,
absolutely.
I'll believe
Old
that.
Man of the
Actually,
Sea.
Beast Within.
Also,
Yeah.
That's a game, isn't it?
Maybe Mario on one of the
I'm thinking of
water-based
Primal
levels.
Rage. No, Beast. I actually think Beast Within is a much stronger game name. I think what Sean's doing here is he's taking cards that are on color
Yeah.
and then
I don't
making a
even
case
know
for
what
it, which is a
Short Fang
reasonable
does, but
tactic.
thank God it's
But I
black,
feel
because
in a vacuum, the card in
we're
this pack
committed
with
to
the
that.
best game name is Beast Within.
Beast
It's
Within.
certainly not Old Man of
we
the
can
Sea.
talk a little bit about Daigo Umehara, you know, the infamous fighting game.
Okay, he won't be
player.
able to make that case
Oh
now.
my God.
There's no question here what the answer is.
Oh my God, it's Flash Freeze.
No, it is Sneak Attack.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Sneak Attack.
completely agree with Brian there.
I agree with Sean. I think
That
Flash
Sneak
Freeze is a
Attack
better
is
old school
absolutely,
arcade name than
a
Sneak
game
Attack. But Sneak
that
Attack is
it's,
very,
I
very good.
suppose- Yeah, Sneak Attack. Yeah, it has to be. Where there's like two bubble monitors. They're huge bubble CRTs. Is that such a thing? Give them a bubble CRT? Okay, but you know, they're on opposite sides. They're ganging up on each other. We're not going to run it in the deck, maybe. I haven't read it. I don't know what it does because I'm busy talking to you right now. Let's see
I don't
here.
think Delver of Secrets
Una's
is that
Prowler.
close.
Go for the throat. Oh my God, of course. Go for the
We
throat.
had Go for the Throat on the short line.
Yep.
I actually think I saw a commercial for this in
Path to
1991,
Exile,
right
actually.
after
I think
Sun
Path to
Kid
Exile is a
spot,
lot
right?
stronger
Go
than
for
Go
the
for the
Throat.
Throat,
It had
yeah.
like a theme song, and there were kids wearing striped baggy shirts and
Blistering
fluorescent hats that
Firecat
went like
would
that
be a
up.
character in
Go for the
one
Throat
of these
is the game
games that
they
we've
play.
seen, but
Perfect.
not the name of the game itself.
come
Possibly
to
in
us.
Sneak Attack.
Possibly in
Skeletal
Sneak Attack.
scrying. In fact, no one has ever used the word scry outside of obscure fantasy novels and magic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your capacity
Looks
for
like he's gonna get his
rationalization
go for the
knows
throat.
no bounds.
Yeah,
From
I agree with the chat.
Sinkhole.
Path to Exile, better
Oh
name
my
for
God.
the game there. I
Tin
don't know.
String
I think
Hooligan,
Sinkhole?
Plow
I think
Under.
BDM is letting him get away with some stuff here.
Stomping
Sinkhole
Ground
seems
is
like that
useless,
perfect
but let me-
2D scroller where
let
you're
me-
jumping over like.
Oh, it's like a Pitfall
No, no,
knockoff.
Exactly.
Oh,
No.
I played enough of that on the C64. I don't
Arcade games
need to
are
relive
known
it.
for racing games, and Sinkhole is a game where you're trying to dodge, you're trying to get around them.
I'm gonna say it has to be Stomping Ground.
It has to be Stomping Ground.
What about Oron Viper?
Okay, so he made a case
I
for
think
Stomping
Primal
Ground there.
Command.
That's fair.
Primal Command, it has to be. Sakashima's Student is a very famous arcade game from Japan.
No, it's not.
Where, wow, look at that. Look, ninjutsu, perfect. We're going with that theme. I can't choose it because you're not giving any comments that imply that I can switch, but that's okay. We're
Mystic
gonna go with
Gate,
Primal
actually,
Command.
I think would be the.
Looks like we have
the pick here.
a deck that
But
is
Primal Command is acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Let me just explain to you why Vampire Nighthawk. There's this wonderful game.
I'm sold.
Vampire Nighthawk.
BDM does not need to be sold on the concept of Vampire Nighthawk.
What you do is you drive at night. Thanks. Only 3 seconds. I'm done. Got it. Boom. We bought ourselves the time.
Dark Ritual.
Dark Ritual or Willbender.
Willbender is also good, but no.
Yes, it is.
Dark Ritual.
It's definitely Dark Ritual. All right, so far so good. Looks like we've achieved.
I'm thinking it's a Diablo-style game.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're going down, you walk into a building, and you go into the basement, and then you go into the sub-basement, and then you're in the catacombs, and then eventually you're in hell.
Really? Hand of Honor?
It's Dark Ritual.
All right, it has to be the hand here.
Oh, yeah. Elixir of Immortality would be a terrible, terrible game. Wear and Tear, actually.
I would play that game.
I would probably play Wear and Tear.
All right, so here we are. We got Ryan Spain. He has to pick the least threatening card out of these packs. Now, Elspeth's holding a sword. That's pretty threatening.
Angels are not.
All right, we'll earmark that one. Kozilek's really threatening. Very threatening. Most threatening ever.
Creeping Tar Pit
That's
is
pretty scary.
Pretty threatening for a land.
Yeah.
A rolling ball of mirror.
Of little robots.
Anything.
Yeah, but it's also scary if you're standing in front of it.
Yeah, fortunately.
What is happening on dismantling? Oh, somebody's
He's
breaking
attacking.
things. That's fairly threatening. All right, now
Tiding,
I gotta say,
lighting a candle.
Tiding doesn't look threatening at all. It's just a guy with a wax seal.
All right.
He could burn himself.
All right. So, being threatened to be turned into feathers or whatever is pretty threatening. Kitchen thinks he's not very threatening. He's kind of drinking milk in the kitchen.
Yeah, not a big deal. Go on. That's scary. And this is actually fairly. We've
Sunken
noticed that
ruin.
lands are generally not threatening, but it's tidings.
Yes, it's tiding.
It's simply
Has to be-
writing a letter to your friend is not threatening. It turns out.
All right. Well, hopefully the kitchen.
Very
fix
much
comes
agreed
back
with them
for me, but
on this one.
I'm happy to take.
That's irrelevant to me, sir.
This deck looks
right.
much more like a train wreck than
Avenger.
Sean's deck.
It very much does.
Threatening.
So go community, I
I
guess.
feel like Marshall isn't going to let Ryan get away with much of anything here.
No.
Fires, Llanowar Wastes.
Of course, as Marshall Sutcliffe, host of the Limited
Those are
Resources
something,
podcast, and
Now,
Ryan
show
Spain, the
and
mastermind of
tell.
the
One of the
Limited Resources
most fun
podcast.
things you can do at
But
school.
that looks pretty threatening.
Those are just eyeballs. They're not threatening. It's definitely show and tell in the forefront. No.
Rampant growth is just. Elvish Mystic.
I was going to say the Elvish Mystic, but he just looks angry.
I can't even argue that.
Yeah, it's just show and tell.
Yeah, it's
Yay!
literally,
Maybe.
literally
maybe
a thing
that
you do at
Eldrazi
school,
can do that.
in grade school.
You know, everybody else is under a stipulation here, too.
I know, that's what.
Show
well, I got
for
like
absolutely
a
nothing.
14th pick Liliana or whatever. So
Right.
like, you
So the
can
weird
have-
thing, of course, in
it's sad
stipulation
to me,
draft,
but
as you
show
just
and
heard the
tell
mention, is
not
that
bad.
everyone has the weird
I
stipulations.
do have mystical tutors, so maybe.
So the signaling is a
something
mess.
non-threatening that I actually want to put into play comes in. All right. So we have an Aether Vial.
Aether Vial's not
I
very
don't know what to
threatening,
make of that yet.
He's kind of
which in
just staring
the
at
scheme
it.
of
That's
this
not
pack
bad.
is probably the
That's
pick.
The artwork is not that threatening on this card.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back to that.
That is threatening.
Yeah.
That guy's dead.
Let's just pass up on. I'm learning what to pass quickly on. We have a Spirit Wall.
A spirit kind of over.
The Wall of Reverence
That's
is not
that
especially
bad.
threatening.
Okay, we'll keep that one in mind.
Augur
All the red
has a
cards are
weapon.
out.
That seems
Note they have not picked a red card yet,
Scary
because
enough.
red cards are far too threatening.
Is it Charm? Is it Electric-y? Those are obviously both very threatening.
You've got some choices here, my friend.
So,
You've got Aether Vial, Nevinyrral's Disc, both non-threatening. I think Is It Charm fits, and Wall of Reverence. You can pick any of those. Like, that one's
the
not
wall.
threatening at all. Look at the wall
So
again.
Marshall's getting a choice of 4 here.
Not a lot of threat there.
If I were Ryan, I
He's
might have gone for the
blessing
Aether
the
Vial,
thing.
because you already
Yeah,
have
I
the
think
show
I'm
and
gonna have
tell
to go
for
with
nothing.
Wall here.
You may as well have the Aether Vial for
Right,
nothing,
space.
and then
Yeah.
hope that you get something.
Okay,
Looks like he went with the
Liliana
wall.
again. Her
Scary,
Liliana doesn't
scary,
actually look that
very
threatening per se.
Deeply
Giant
She's just sort of
hammer.
standing there.
Floating hammers.
The floating hammer, not especially
Converting.
threatening. Now she's making a crocodile.
Rabbits and
That's
crocodiles is
yeah.
perhaps
that is a
threatening,
deal
probably
breaker.
not.
So this is
This
a guy
guy's a
looking
reader.
at a book,
He's a reader.
and then upside down,
He has reader with a helmet.
yeah.
That's not that
He's a
bad.
reader and he turns into a reader
That
with
is
a helmet.
scary. That is very scary.
That's
Very threatening.
soldier. Weapon is. Oh, it's a weapon being destroyed.
Yeah, that one's hard to say.
Treetop Village.
scary. I wouldn't go into that village.
That's
And
pretty.
this guy's just crazy.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
got like a pig head.
All right, what are my choices? I have Jushi selected.
Jushi. He's a reader. Like
Okay.
he's reading on a Sunday afternoon. Of course you can take.
Take it. Okay, Vindicate, threatening with a weapon. Master the Wild Hunt. He's got
Definitely
some wolves.
not a
He's
coward.
got some wolves and is pointing at me, so probably not.
Not even
It
close.
looks like you may have bothered
Earl the Miststalker looks like he's about
That's
18
hot.
miles high.
Spalding, in fact.
Ooh.
High with his belt. You know, ultimately, pretty threatening, I guess, at the end of the day.
A brain maggot seems
That's threatening your sanity.
lingering souls, overrun.
Okay, but maybe the most threatening thing, overrun.
Shardless agent is weapons. Now this is just a jellyfish.
Now, jellyfish are generally fairly threatening. Let's see what the last one is. Old man, no problem.
Old man is not
An old man.
threatening at all.
Yeah,
The old man's certainly less threatening than a man of war.
Be very careful around a scalding tarn.
Yeah, but it would still be threatening.
Jellyfish, only medium threatening. Man of war,
right.
Very.
horrifically poisonous.
Johnny.
2 weapons, or 1 weapon and 2.
I don't think we ever get to
remember
pick
the
a
stipulation
planeswalker
we had,
with the
anything that
stipulation,
breathes
unfortunately.
lightning is not allowed.
Basically,
I don't
red
think so,
cards
no.
do not seem to be on the list. Lion, attacker.
Now,
I'd love a good option.
now
there,
wait a
but-
minute. A guy on a sled. We'll come back to that one maybe.
Desperate ravings.
You know, somebody in a jail is actually not that threatening.
Right.
Ooh,
I agree with Marshall.
interesting point.
That's kind of
Too threatening.
Liliana.
That's scary.
Oh.
And that is too. You know, it's actually desperate ravings here. I think.
All right.
Really.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
Desperate ravings.
Are you threatened
got
by
the
a
red
person
card.
behind bars?
I guess not.
Not really. Everybody else has weapons or is snarling.
All right, get in my deck.
Oh, I just noticed actually
Get
he
in my
managed to get a
Congratulations on your
Liliana
first
of the
red
veil
card.
earlier.
Uh, Cobras.
She doesn't look especially
Pretty
threatening. That's
cobras.
fair. She's sort of,
That's not.
I
very
think,
threatening.
alluring would be the right word.
Smokestack. That's not threatening.
Have you ever breathed smoke before? It's very
Well,
bad
it's a
for you.
smokestack. It's up there. I'm not scared. I mean,
Smoke is
looks
bad
like
for
all
you,
of it
Ryan.
is
Remember
steel.
this.
It's like a weird carnival smokestack. I don't know. I find it threatening.
Mind sensor has got a javelin. It's another old man just kind of sitting
You're
there.
right. You are right. That is scary. All right, so you've got 3 choices. You can take Rootbound Crag, Warm Power Stone, or Flash Freeze.
Power Stone.
Windmilled it. Not threatening at all. It's a rock.
Firelit Thicket. This also seems misdirection.
I think
There's
somebody's
some
head
floating
maybe-
heads here.
Violet Thicket
Yeah,
is
no, you
certainly
can't take-
creepy, but I don't know if it's
yeah,
threatening.
I didn't realize how bloody that art was before.
Yeah.
Silence, on the other hand, is gory.
Evil.
You know, based on the artwork, I can't really tell. What's the next one?
He's ripping apart an
Football,
earth.
Rhino.
That's,
You got
that's
10
scary.
seconds.
Fork
That's
bolt.
threatening.
Wall
That's
of
not at
Ruin.
all. You can take Regrowth or Wall of Omens here.
Let's Wall of Omens.
Yeah,
All right,
that
Wall
wall
of
is not
Omens.
threatening.
Ryan's got
All
a
right, here's the pack
defender.
that we open.
The
Yeah.
the intrigue.
Intrigue was
wheel.
on the table before, so what do you, I mean,
So it sounds like when we
These are all-
joined the pack,
clearly to me the least
they were
threatening are
already discussing intrigue.
angels,
And since it
who,
wheeled,
to
that
me,
seems like they're
I
going to
would
be the
be
pick here.
threatened by angels.
They might help you.
I think I would allow
Battle
Battle
Spirit,
Spear. It's
you know,
adorable.
they-
It's not threatening.
So you tell me.
I mean, it's very big.
Battle Sphere? You're not scared of that?
No, but you know what? I'm happy that you think the angels are.
No, it's not what I think. It's just a fact. I'm just
That's true.
relaying facts.
Well,
I will be interested to see what he gets out of
I'm
this
at your
pack.
mercy
Wastes.
in the end.
You-
It
you
seems like
have to
Manowar
go with the
waste
waste.
here.
yeah, you got to take the waste.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, not very threatening, but also not very.
Now, there's that Aether Vial.
Here's Aether Vial.
Ether Vial. Yep. I can't argue with that, but I'm putting it in the side.
And the
Now, this
hammer.
one's interesting. I think you have a
probably
little
the
leeway
village.
here. I don't think the hammer is a card you could really take. But based on the artwork, it's got to be Treetop Village, right?
I think so. It's just a village.
I mean, there is. Well, there's a. You see the monkey up in the corner
Suppose
there?
there's the
Yeah, he
fall,
sees
or
you.
the
Yeah,
fear
but
of falling
that's not
out
as
of the
nearly as
village.
threatening as that.
In a
No,
tree.
not at all. He's far
That's,
further
I
away.
guess that's a
too.
little threatening.
Yeah.
A bunch of trampling animals, a brain maggot,
Ugh.
or an agent.
This is just
Your
the
pick.
lesser of three evils.
It has to be.
It can't be overrun though.
Yeah, Overrun is.
That's literally the most threatening card I've ever seen in
I
my
think
life.
I'd rather get attacked by a shardless agent than either of the other options. So
Vampire
I'll.
Assassin.
You know,
Here, I
I
feel
think
like
that
you can
Johnny's
allow
the
it.
pick here. I think
Johnny.
he's slightly
Yeah.
less threatening than a vampire.
Good job. Managed to get two planeswalkers.
We take the mind sensor.
You know, you
Random
almost
Aven
have a
Mind
deck
Sensor.
here.
All right.
I got one more.
Have you
pack.
been working me and I just didn't know?
I think I'm benefiting from the fact that there's two entire colors that are just every piece of art is super threatening. So
And that's
we're
red
gonna-
and black.
we're gonna
yeah, so I think
switch
Banch
back
is coming
to,
together because
Cheon and
they're-
BDM for pack
they're
3 and
just
see how the
least
arcade
threatening.
deck is coming
I'm
together.
kind of getting some lands that are. So all right.
Carnophage. Definitely. I don't know. Scrubland, I just saw in the pack there. I could definitely see Scrubland being a.
Okay.
Now enter
Vanguard
the
is
Scrubland.
easily the most arcadey style game where it's kind of like Space
Elite
Invaders,
Vanguard?
except you're not the
I almost
spaceship
feel
holding off
like
the
this
invaders.
figure beats that
You're the
out.
elite vanguard of spaceships. If you're not
No, I think Elite Vanguard is
kind of
more
they
of a
ripped it
game
off.
than
It's really
Disfigure.
the thing. There's a big IP dispute that went on, but managed to get it. Let's see. Tendrils of Corruption, Primeval Titan, Dictate of Erebos, Greyborn Muse. Now, I have Erebos. I managed to let me choose that one. It's Primeval Titan or Dictate of Erebos.
So if we're going to accept Erebos as a game, then we have to accept that there could have been a sequel.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dictate of Erebos. I think Farseek.
No, it's Exhumed.
It's Exhumed? No, Exhumed. Are you well, okay, so if we go for a death arcade.
Actually, it might be Dragon Skull Summit. It's Dragon Skull
Oh, that's
Summit
right.
for
You're
sure.
totally right. Yeah, Dragon Skull
Absolutely.
Summit, yeah, it's a place where you go. It's a very simple game.
It's great hearing them
Fly around
work
with
this out.
Hand of Cruelty.
It's like, oh, you're
of
totally
course.
right. It has to be Dragon Skull
Can't be a
Summit, of
gnarled
course.
Scarhide.
No,
like,
no.
no one in creative would let that slide for a second, but Hand of Cruelty. Kids like,
Hand
we
of
get the
Cruelty,
Airborne,
absolutely.
which is,
Oh my
I think,
God.
very flavorful.
The only
That's
pick,
so
but
great.
Urborg.
Tomb of Yawgmoth. There is just a lot more
Yawgmoth.
letters in what I said than I expected there to be, but that's
Sean
okay.
Plott,
because sometimes
2014.
things happen.
Okay.
Ancient Grudge, very good. Underground River.
Now, of course, we're seeing Elish Norn here because, of course,
Correctly
they're
obliterate-
in different pods.
I
They're in the
think
other
the
pods.
answer
Yeah.
here, though,
and the other shards of
is
as well.
no, it's not.
Lingering Souls.
Time Warp.
Time Warp.
Time
No.
Warp, yeah.
Let me argue. Look, Lingering Souls. It's a game where you
I don't buy it, Sean. I don't buy Lingering
An arcade
Souls.
game where you play as a ghost.
I could see
in
Blood
some
Crypt.
way.
No, this
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
This is absolutely
Time Warp.
Time Warp. Oh God. What would
I think
Time
those are
Warp-
the
what
only
is Time
two.
Warp?
I mean, there were
Actually,
all sorts of time travel.
Mishra's
shoot 'em up
Factory.
games. You'd fly a biplane
Could-
through time,
that could be a fun
shooting
game.
things,
Yeah.
And then you'd warp into another time.
I feel like Time Warp,
if
Blood
only
Crypt,
I
or
could
possibly
remember
Mishra's Factory
a
could be.
ghost-based
Like Mishra's Factory would be,
game.
you know,
Lingering Souls.
crazy mad
Come on.
scientists
Lingering
factory,
Souls.
and you have to
Oh,
like
I can think
navigate
of
all his
anything.
weird inventions.
What's an arcade game? Okay,
Definitely a roguelike,
House of the
Mishra's
Dead.
Factory, I think.
It's a really popular arcade shooter, and
Mazes,
they
yeah.
always hang around forever. They never stop. You have to keep doing them.
Yeah,
You
from
have
the
to kill
chat.
so
I can see
many
Mishra's
souls,
Factory as a
but they're
puzzle
not
wizard
souls, they're
game.
zombies.
He is still
oh my
pushing for
God,
that
you're saying
soul.
When
nothing.
you say zombies, I'll give you Lingering Souls.
Oh, at the last
Oh, we
second.
got it at the
Boom.
last
You know, I will
second.
give
How
you-
did you
Oh,
convince
That was
Brian of
close.
that?
That was difficult.
Okay.
Entomb, Faith Fetter,
Don't make me come in there, Brian.
Northern Ranger, Temple Garden, Bayou, Findhorn Elves, a Chrome Mox.
I think Maelstrom Pulse sounds.
Maelstrom Pulse. Maelstrom is probably the most complicated.
This is a pretty
word
weak pack
that is still
for
okay to
arcade
put
game
into the
names.
public eye.
Yeah, this card feels like Tempest to me. The old
Yeah, I think it's either the Pulse or
I see this as a vector graphic
Oh,
arcade
God.
game.
Temple
where
Garden.
you're
Would you play
shooting
Temple
misdirection.
Garden?
This sucks. Misdirection is a game of dodging.
No, Temple Garden sounds
Oh,
terrible.
no, maybe that's more of a card game. It's more of something.
We
you
never
keep
said they had to
us
be
like-
good arcade games.
No,
True.
we have Entomb.
Ooh, you asked me if I'd play it. Vines of
Capsize
Vastwood is
is
not
a fun game
unreasonable.
about-
I
I don't
can
know.
see Capsize, but I don't.
I don't want any of these cards. You know what? You're right. Maelstrom Pulse. It's a game where it's one of those spinning games in the arcade
Yeah.
with a prize,
Yes.
and it's
Oh.
welcome to Maelstrom Pulse. And if you hit it, you get tickets. You can get some sunglasses
Oh,
that
it's a
melt
carnival
in the
game.
car.
Okay.
All right, let's see what we're working.
It's not a
with
good
here.
carnival game.
Maelstrom Pulse. I don't think that fits in the deck at all. But I haven't really. Duress Corrupt. Thunderblast. Ooh, Thunderblast has a nice
Thunderblast,
little
very good.
lightning bolt.
If you want to go back to like a ColecoVision, I could totally see a game just called Explore.
It might be Explorer.
It's just
Thorns,
green.
Battle
Your
Mage,
character
no.
is a
Duress,
blue
no.
dot.
Swords to Plowshares, no.
And you just
it's a
go
game
around.
Just
about
wander.
farming. No, not in an arcade. Legacies, Allures.
There's like little
Snuff
brown
Out.
dots. What are those? Those are trees.
Calculation's pretty good. Llanowar Elves, Windbreath Kites, Corrupt, Lightning Bolt, Thunderblast. Now,
I'm seeing
can I make it?
Explore here.
Explore is kind of hard. Well, the problem is that you don't really do a lot of exploration in arcade games. They're very linear. They're competitive. I think Miscalculation might have to be the one where it's like a game between two people, where it's like a really complicated Pong. Listen to me. Look, here's what happens in Miscalculation. I don't want this card. Why am I trying to make an argument for it? Supreme Verdict. It's a game about being a judge, where you're really cruel to. I don't know.
Take the Explorer, Sean.
The thing's got to be Miscalculation.
Why are you taking
I don't
Miscalculation?
want that card. That sucks. Recurring Nightmare. Oh, Magma Spray. Walden.
Shadow Mage Upheaval actually sounds.
Upheaval.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Upheaval,
that's it. It's Upheaval. It's Upheaval because it's a verb game, and verb games. are
Again,
very
depending on the
important
era
to
you're
the
going back
arcade
to, where they
space.
were just really
Although
simple
Magma
games.
Spray-
Pillage.
No, that doesn't.
You're a
do it.
Viking
Doesn't
who
do
is
it.
also
Magma
a single
Spray,
blue
it just,
dot.
it's too specific because Upheaval, it could be anything, right? It could
Fire
be
spout.
could be a racing game where you're
Magma
playing
Spray.
on like a very roiling
Teetering
surface.
peaks.
It could be.
I think
a
Recurring
game
Nightmare is
where
probably
you are
strong,
on
but I'm okay with
an
upheaval in this
electronic
case.
bowl. You're trying to hold on.
Sure.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a game about a mortgage.
Yeah, I think it's upheaval. I tend to always think it's upheaval, whether I'm drafting, cube drafting for rock band names or cube drafting for arcade game names.
One of the reasons I don't mind upheaval is this is clearly not an upheaval deck. So it's not like he's making an argument for a pick that makes his deck better.
Would have been pushing for the Recurring Nightmare there.
Wasteland, actually a game.
Blightning. It's Blightning.
Blightning?
That's exactly
Blightning's
what it
really
is.
good now.
It's Blightning because
BDM was
everyone
annoyed last
trying to
time
brand
because
with their
someone
cool
picked
names, you know, like Crossfire
a card
with a
because he
Y.
was doing
This is Blightning
music. He was
with
doing
a
band
Blightning.
names.
It's
And
Blightning.
someone picked, I don't remember what it was, but someone picked a card over a different card that was an actual band name.
Wasteland is like straight RPG style setting. It's evocative of a place. Arcade games are fast and snappy. Maybe Night of Glory, where you play as a knight and you go to
Merciless
it's like a scrolling battle. Merciless Eviction? You're still stuck on the landlord thing, man. It's Night of Glory or Blightning.
I like Blightning.
Blightning just sounds so like a marketing team was like, it's Blightning, you know?
I prefer
It's
Night
like
of Glory.
Accenture.
I think Sean was on the right track with that one.
But that's not an arcade
Again,
game.
Wasteland,
Not
actual
technically
game.
speaking. Spirit Bond, Gifts Unforgiven, Tooth and Nail.
Sulfur
Tooth and Nail is
Vortex.
clearly.
Oh God, I don't
Ooh,
want
Tooth and Nail.
though.
Yep.
That's what
Yeah,
it is. Tooth
I would
and
buy
Nail
that.
is far and away the most
I'd buy
arcadey
Tooth and
thing.
Nail.
We make Spirit Bonds. Something we got about to control you.
You know it's a terrible
You
game?
put,
Dissipate.
You could make a looser case.
You buy it,
but
it dissolves.
Ah.
It's because
Very
it's
bad.
just whose name
Dissolve,
both sounds
technically
like
a different
arcade,
card.
and that's brutal.
Go with me on this
Gruesome.
journey.
It's a gruesome pick. Now, I think what most people are trying to do is they're trying to read the draft, trying to figure out what other people are doing. I haven't read most of the cards I've chosen.
Sure.
I've looked only at titles, which is
That's
good.
the only thing
because-
that matters.
Yes, it's titles and it's
Yeah, Sean has
structure
no
of
idea how
argument.
he's building this
Spear
deck.
bonds,
No,
though, would
no.
be nice.
That's why we have
so
Paul
if you
here.
wanna let me
Yep.
choose that. Okay, we can't do it.
Regrowth,
Grave Titan. Oh, of
Yeah.
course, Grave Titan. I mean,
Grave
this is
Titan over Master of Waves.
Master of Waves also
yes.
works.
Grave Titan over.
But no.
Scalding
Simic
Tarn over
Skyfall.
Simic Skyfall.
Yeah.
Court Husser.
No, it's got to be Titan or Master
Call their
here.
game Court Husser.
Diagraph Ghoul is not a game.
Court Husser is like a new insult they're going to use in sororities in a few years. You're dressed like a court husser. Like Grave
A husser.
Titan is perfect.
I think it's
you know, we
Hussar.
talked a little bit about House of the
It
Dead,
is.
about
Okay.
zombie-themed shooting games. You know, rip-offs are really big in the gaming industry. So we have Grave Titan. It's the same thing. It's a mix between House of the Dead and Shadow of the Colossus. Probably.
Ooh.
I don't need to keep arguing it. because
A
God
mix
knows
between
like
House
it.
of the Dead and Shadow of the Colossus?
Burial Rites.
I would play Grave Titan.
Oh,
Sign
House,
me up for
sequel to
Grave
House.
Titan.
Wow, there are a lot of good choices here. Well,
Tangle Wire. Oh, that's so good. What does this even do?
No.
no.
3 to the right. Savage Lands.
Savage Lands, yeah.
Savage
It's like a bomb
Lands.
diffusing game.
It's you,
Some
an
sort of,
axe,
like, circuit
and a
board
place full of
game.
dinosaurs.
Hinder.
No, Hinder's not.
Hinder's way too weak because,
Yeah.
you know, like an arcade
Also,
game-
his deck could probably use a Savage
Well,
Lands.
let
No.
Ryan
Hardcore.
take Hinder for his coward.
No.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
It's all yours, friend.
Got the
Okay.
Tangle Wire.
Sulfurous,
So, Phyrexian Obliterator. It's
look,
Time Warp.
it's Time Warp.
It's
You're
time,
right.
yeah,
Well,
it's
let me just pick it.
No. I still think Blood Crypt was a contender there.
Pretty good.
I think
I like
Capsize-
Capsize here.
Signs of Vastwood. Ooh, no, that's not
I
going to
think
be
it's
it ever.
Capsize. Capsize sounds like a breakout style.
I'm still
Yeah,
not
you're right.
opposed to Vines of Vastwood, but Capsize is fine.
Corrupt.
Supreme Verdict, Corrupt, Legacies, Allure, Duress. I think it's got to be Corrupt.
I'll go. I will go.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'll allow
we're
Corrupt.
scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Corrupt was a game where you are a vampire and you have to go around to
Vampirize?
you go to the youth and you get them to smoke. Okay, it was
All right,
called
so
Corrupt.
pillage.
It was a successful game.
I
Pillage.
think so.
Think you're teetering?
Did you hear
I
Yeah.
think it's
Sean's
just
pitch for
pillage.
Corrupt?
I mean, arcade games are always like one word. Just bleh.
I like Desperate Ravens.
Electrolyze, I think?
Mad Men.
No.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Raging Ravine. It's a racing game on a river. That's it. It's
Yeah,
it's
no,
too
it's
easy.
absolutely-
It's a Raging Game on
Diagraph
the River.
Ghoul.
All right, Raging Ravine it is. And
really
Diagraph
good,
Ghoul.
yeah.
There is Sean Day 9's
Deck?
pile
How do you
of
feel like this
cards.
went
yes.
for you?
Oh, I'm deeply pleased with the way that we somehow wound up mono black in an arcade deck.
I can't wait to see how he manages to build it into something even remotely playable. While we were doing that, Randy was in the red zone taking a look at some of the other drafting that was going on. Randy, what did you see?
Yeah, so I saw the Spellbound constraint, and I was like, how do you build a creatureless deck? Like, there have been, in the Holiday Cube, maybe you could go Storm, but you can't go Storm. There's not enough card support in this. So Wizards handed that to Tom Lapilli, and Tom, Cube aficionado, actually built the first Mitgo cube and has continued to be involved to this day. So I'm watching as he finishes out the rest, and I actually think Tom might have pulled this off. Like, you look at this deck, and he's got a couple of Planeswalkers. He's got Gideon, he's got Elspeth, he's got Mistress Factory he can attack with. And the key card for me is Vidalcan Shackles. Like, Vidalcan Shackles steal the opponent's creature.
Someone else's creature.
Now, he didn't get as many control magic effects as he might have liked, but this is a good blue-white control deck. I mean, you would only put 2 or 3 big flying creatures in this deck anyway. I think that if he can get those Planeswalkers, get to the Mistress Factory, and he's got a lot of, like, Brainstorm Impulse type things. Karn, this is a pretty good blue-white cube deck. I'm actually impressed with what Tom did here, and I think Wizards knew that Spellbound was going to be a super hard criterion, a super hard stipulation to deal with. They gave it to an expert, and he might actually have pulled it off.
Well, we talked about the lack of experience of the community team with the cube, but we failed to talk about the great deal of experience with the Wizards team, because to a certain extent, the Magic Online cube is Tom's cube.
Yeah.
Like, it's his actual cube that he owns
it
at
was
home.
a number of iterations.
I mean, obviously, it's morphed over the time, but I mean, he must know what's up.
Let's look at this one, though. What do you think the stipulation was here?
I am hoping this is the you aren't allowed to block one.
Yeah, which is not actually a stipulation if you're Mike Turian.
Not for the draft. It is a stipulation for gameplay.
Which is not actually a stipulation if you're Mike Turian. I've watched Mike Turian play Magic. I haven't seen him block since 1998.
I was hoping, for the community's sake, that they would end up with that stipulation.
I know, this is like...
This deck looks disgusting.
Yeah, this deck is ridiculous, right? And like, the Wizards team, they gave it to Mike. I don't know if they squandered him. Like, he probably could have 3-0'd with a real stipulation, but they're just like, Mike, build the best Magic deck you're capable of building and playing anyway. This is a guy who looks at Goblin Raiders, the sort of 1R, 2/2 can't block. He sees can't block as a special ability. Can't block means you're not allowed to make a mistake. Attack with it. Turn it sideways. That's how he plays Magic anyway. So yeah, he's drafted the mono-red aggro deck that everybody lives in fear of in the Magic Online cube. Cube's actually been toned down a little bit. This archetype is not as powerful in the new cube as I think it has been in days past. And you see that here, Mike's deck his curve isn't as great. There's sort of not as much burn as you might like, but when everyone else had to deal with stipulations, I think Mike may run his limited record on the weekend to 9-0.
I don't think there's any way that this deck doesn't 3-0 this next event. Did you get a chance to look at any of the backout drafts?
Oh, it was hard to follow those as we went along. I'm certainly
kidding.
happy to hop into one now. I can find, let's see, Helen's deck should be 2 above Mike's.
So this is Helen's deck that Erin Campbell drafted the first 2 packs of?
Yes.
I must have missed.
We're just going to look at a couple of the other decks while there's about 5 minutes left in deck building before the first round starts.
So while Randy looks for that, if you're in the backdraft,
Okay.
what are you taking in those first 2 packs to make sure that your opponent has a really hard time coming back from whatever you've done to their poor deck?
Well, I'm not taking creatures.
No.
Because that might lead to a win condition.
So I'm looking at what I'm pretty sure is Erin Campbell's deck here, and it looks decent.
So it'll be Erin Campbell's deck that Helene Bergeau
Drafted the first 2 packs, though. Yeah,
Drafted
there
the
you
first
see
2
her,
packs,
Erin
though?
Campbell back out draft. Here's a look at everybody's draft stipulations.
So Paul Cheon ended up with even keel. Frank is playing the Constructed Player, which was the 60-card deck. Scott is playing Magic Editor, which is the total number of words per card for all your cards is 60, correct?
Yeah.
Mariah,
They gave Bjorn Andreasson, who admittedly has very little to zero experience with the Mitgo Cube. Horrible Marksman, the deck that cannot have any equipment, auras, or cards that say target.
That makes it very easy to draft.
I guess.
His deck's not that bad, by the way. He can channel out a Kozilek.
All right, well,
He
there
can
you
channel
go.
out a mere Battlesphere. He's got
What
some
if he
dragons.
doesn't draw channel?
He's got a sneak attack in there, so he went sneak attack with fatties and then channel and rent spells to get them out.
All right.
Like, there are no targets
Okay.
involved in that plan.
Okay.
You know, and mass sweepers like Toxic Deluge, Nevinyr's Disc, like for that stipulation, which I agree with you, is a difficult one to have to deal with. This deck looks great
Yeah,
with that
This
stipulation.
deck does not look.
I mean, I
yeah.
feel like you could play this deck without a stipulation and sort of would not be embarrassed to show it to your friends.
Yeah, this actually looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, sneak attack and channel with a bunch of fatties. Sign me up.
What is this? 4 different colors? Yeah, looks like a cube deck to me.
So now you see the Wizard team and their assignments.
So Aaron Forsyth with all you need, only cards with A through L. Starting the name, Matt Gregory, the Pauper player, Dave Humphreys, well, that's odd. Tom Lapilli, Spellbound, as we saw, a staggeringly good-looking deck. Ryan Spain, we listened in during Pack 2 for him and Marshall, drafting Cowards, or at least the least threatening artwork, such as writing a letter home. Mike Turian, as we mentioned, the Mike Turian stipulation, and Worth Walpert, pardon me, drafting the Living Guild Pact, meaning prioritizing multicolored cards.
You want to see how that one turned out?
I would
I
love
would
to
love
see how that
to.
one. So this is
It's
if
shiny.
there was a multicolored card, he had to take that.
There's lots of
That is a
gold
colorful
cards.
deck.
That is a very colorful deck.
Land base, Creeping Tar Pit, 3 forests,
Wow, look at the
3
lands.
islands, a jungle shrine, 2 mountains, 2 plains, a seaside citadel, a wildwood, 2 swamps, a taiga, and a tropical island.
This man got very lucky that Birds of Paradise was in a pack with no gold cards.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
There's a rampant
absolutely.
growth and a regrowth and a cultivate
Yep.
and a pristine talisman. Well, that's not fixing. What am I talking about?
But ending
Look
up
at the
with
dual lands. He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 dual lands.
6 dual lands.
6
Ended-
multi-lands, 2 of which are the original
Ended up
good
with
duels.
5 planeswalkers.
And
Nope,
11.
6 planeswalkers.
You got-
I didn't see Domery there.
He got 11 multicolored cards there.
He's playing Burning of Zinye just for value, just because he likes to blow up everybody's lands.
All
Actually,
right.
he ended up with many more multicolored cards than that, but he's just not playing them all.
That wasn't part of the stipulation.
It wasn't part of the
so-
stipulation. I feel he's ethically obliged to, but we have no way of enforcing this. Because of the way we have to do the tournament here, he's boarding in extra lands, or he's putting extra lands in his board in case he has to sideboard into something completely different. So, the teams, I don't think anyone's looking super confident. But then,
Why would you?
why would you after these events? But I am fascinated to see how the decks end up playing. Do we know yet who our feature match for the round is going to be? It'll be Ryan Spain for Wizards versus Scotty Mac, Mr. Scott MacCallum.
So 60 cards